Hello, everyone. Welcome back to PopCultX, episode 111, 111, in binary code. I'm not sure what that spells, but if you know out there, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe and tell us all your favorite binary words. My name is Danny, and along with Gabriel, we're here, your Gen X hosts of PopCultX, talking to you about all things pop culture from our Gen X point of views. So, Gabe, what did you do this past week that really stood out?
Well, I ran to go see The Flash in the movie theaters. Maybe not so much ran, but like slowly walked to go see The Flash.
Okay.
I really liked it. I know there was a lot of, lead up to it, whether or not it was going to be good, whether or not they should release it because of Ezra Miller, controversy with that. Controversies aside, I really liked the plot. It was fairly straightforward. I mean, it was really good. It was entertaining. I thought he is a good Flash, whether you like it or not. Michael Keaton is an amazing Batman. Will always be in like the top slot of Batman or men who play Batman.
Bat people.
Yeah, Bat people. There was the special effects. I know that there's a bit of controversy with people saying that the special effects weren't up to par, but I didn't really mind it. I thought that they did a great job. Without going into too much detail, there were a lot of cameos in the movie, and I thought that they did a great job with those. I really liked them. It put a smile on my face, and there was some heartwarming moments in the movie, and it was entertaining. It was really good. Yeah, I really liked it. I'm not like the biggest Flash fan, so I was going in with kind of low expectations and left fairly entertained. I would go watch it again, actually.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I want to see it. I mean, like you said, the controversy aside with Ezra Miller and what they did before the movie was released and all the negative occurrences, right?
Yeah.
But once they released that, Michael Keaton was going to be in there, the Supergirl, she looked fantastic in the trailer. That I haven't seen the movie yet, but It looked really good. I mean, like you said, VFX. There was a tweet I saw, or a thread, about how the amount of shots, I guess the VFX studios are paid by the amount of, I guess they bid in how many shots they need to fill, right? That's how they get paid. So one scene could be like just removing a wire or something like that. But another shot or sequence could be full face replacement, full everything, but they still get paid the same, and they're still expected to have it done by the studio in a set amount of time, right? So I guess what I saw was that these VFX artists were being like rushed to deliver the finished product, and it kind of felt like that way, like it was rushed in the end result. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
I mean, I'm not an expert in that area, but from a fan's point of view, I didn't see anything that was like glaringly obvious.
Oh, good.
A rush job. I mean, there were certain parts where I'm like, okay, that probably could look a little bit better, but it was still entertaining. It didn't take me out of the film at all. It was still really fun and entertaining. There was a lot of fun moments in the movie, a lot of humor, and a lot of action. And that's what I go to see superhero movies for, is to see action, peppered with some humor and some people flying and fighting and all of that. And it had that. So I left happy.
Good. I mean, it does look really good. I want to see it. Yeah. And whether or not the VFX, that doesn't, like you said, doesn't really matter as much to me. It's more of like, is the story entertaining? Is the, like you said, is there humor? Is there action? Because that's what we're looking for, or what I guess we've come to expect in most superhero movies. Yeah. There are superhero movies that are more on the darker side, the more, adult type of superhero movies. I saw a trailer for Kraven, which looks like it's going to be in that more of the adults type superhero. I think it's rated R, and that looks fantastic. I'm not sure if you've seen that or not.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it looks really good. I think it's named, who's Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think, is playing Kraven. And I'm not a big Craven, aficionado, so I don't know his story too much, but it
Yeah.
looks really well done. It looks it looks like it's going to be right up there with like the Logan style. So very violent, very you know adult centered and geared towards us, Gen
Nice.
X.
I'll have to go check it out once we're done recording because I haven't seen it. I've heard a lot of talk about it, the little bits of the origin story that have been leaked or have been talked about, but I haven't actually seen the trailer yet. So I'm looking forward to getting a sneak peek.
Yeah, go check it out, and then we'll have you report back next week how you liked it.
Absolutely. So did you see anything this past weekend, this past
I
week?
did. Speaking about the other side of the spectrum when it comes to VFX, I finally got a chance to see Avatar: Way of the Water,
Oh, nice.
and it was beautiful. It was just the scenic view of it. Oh my goodness, it was just so great. I mean, James Cameron did a great job. His VFX team, I guess, spent like almost 10 years, perfecting it. And
Yeah.
the water looked fantastic. The creatures looked fantastic. It was just, mind blowing. It really was. So if you have a chance to go watch that as well. It's on like HBO or Disney now.
What about the story though? Because is it one of those movies that if you were to take away the amazing special effects, is it worth watching?
Yeah, I mean, the story caters around the main two characters from the first one, right? Zoe Saldana and the other gentleman, and how now they've built a family, and how basically his family is everything to him, and he'll do anything to protect them no matter what at all costs. And it's
Yeah.
centered around that dynamic of his family, the Sully family. So it really is great. They have like there's the members of his family, then there's like the adopted kids that come in, and it really shows how he, even though he can't do much, well, he can do a lot of things, but that's his main focus is his family. And I think if you take away the VFX, you put it into like they were just humans in like on an island or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same story. It will still work.
All right.
Yes, of course. Toss
Because
in.
that's one of the things with movies that have like the big budget special effects is like I kind of think of like the Transformers movie or
Mhm.
where it's all about the special effects, but it's like what's the point of watching it? It's just seeing flashy bright lights, flashy things
Mhm.
on the screen,
Big
but really
explosions.
yeah, and big explosions but it's really when it comes down to it, the plot is not there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that it's worthwhile watching. I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a nice 3 hour long movie that doesn't feel like it because it keeps you entertained throughout.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of water, the other thing that's going on in pop culture right now is the missing submarine
Mhm.
that was going down to check out what the Titanic and is now missing. Hopefully, we wish those people well. I think there's
Yeah.
5 people missing.
5 people,
So
yeah.
hopefully they're found soon. I think they are estimating that they still have like some air left and some rations left of food and water, but hopefully it has a good ending. But what came up to mind is the cost associated with this type of trip, right? This type of adventure
Mhm.
trip, and it was upwards in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I was wondering if you had that kind of money to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on your vacation, would you be doing it on potentially life threatening, adventures, or would you be a little bit more conservative and like go to the Bahamas or Hawaii or or Tahiti? Or would you be one of those like Richard Branson types that like wants to jump off the Eiffel Tower or do something that is risking your life to get that fast thrill?
Well, I mean, I guess if you have that much money, you've probably already done everything else, right?
Yeah,
So it's kind of boring probably. But I wouldn't spend that much money to go down in a metal capsule, for lack of a better term, to the
yeah.
bottom of the ocean and not have any manual way inside to get out. That's just like asking for trouble. I mean, yeah, I hope and that the resolution is a positive one,
Right.
but and that everyone's found safe, they locate it. But I would seriously question why there was no, like, tether to the boat that it was launching from, or why they were controlling it with like a PlayStation 4 controller or something like that. Why you're spending that much money? I want to see a better, what kind of technology they're putting into it, and if I'm going to trust my life to it.
I didn't know those kind of details. That's insane.
Yeah, I think that's what I read. How accurate it is. I read it from the internet, so I don't know. I know the Joint Task Force, Coast Guard, Navy, Canadian Navy, we're all looking for it, and it just bewilders me that in this day and age, that how could they lose connection with it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and how could they not find it with like modern sonars, modern radar, GPS stuff? How could they not find it? It just, blows my mind.
Yeah, it is. I think that if I had that kind of money, I would tend to be on the conservative side when it comes to risking my life,
Yeah.
because I would enjoy having the money and enjoy buying things. I think that the stereotype is, oh well, rich people have done everything and they need that type of thrill, but there's a lot of stuff to be done in the world, especially if you haven't been rich your whole life.
Yeah, that's true.
Come into money at a later, in adult years. There's a lot you can do that isn't necessarily risking your life. And so and don't get me wrong, I don't want to take away from the seriousness of the event,
Oh yeah, of course.
but it just, of course, it's human nature that anyone who is hearing about this would say, why are these people risking their lives to like go in the submarine? And so, you kind of ask yourself, would I be willing to do that to see the Titanic? Surely that would be an amazing sight,
Mhm.
but it would have to be like pretty damn safe for me to want to go down. I mean, you're going to go see the wreckage of a ship.
You're going to a
They're
graveyard.
telling you it's not that safe to be in the water. It's almost a reminder
Yeah.
to tell you like, hey, be
Mhm.
safe. So at the end of the day, we wish these people well. Hopefully they get found. Like you said, there's a positive resolution, but I would be doing different things. Have I had that kind of money to spend on my vacation?
Yeah, I think I would as well. I mean, at least, go somewhere where you can actually breathe the air. I don't know. It's, yeah, somewhere different.
Yeah. Speaking of vacations, I actually went to Disneyland this past weekend, and I hadn't been there for a very long time. I went from 9 until 1 o'clock, and quickly realized that at my age, I can't do the open to close
Wait,
Disneyland.
9 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Yeah, yeah,
bookended. Wow.
yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, but definitely it, my feet and back were hurting by the end of the day. But while they did such a great job with that whole Star Wars addition to
Mhm.
Disneyland, it's just incredible. It's like literally walking onto the set of another planet, or another world or galaxy, if you will. I had went into their cantina and got this really cool drink that is like, I think it was called like a fluffy tom tom or something like that, and it had this like bubbly concoction on top that numbed your lips when you drink it. So it
Ah,
was really, really interesting and cool.
is it
I
a
had two of
tauntaun?
those. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, a tauntaun, you know what that is, right?
No.
Okay, so in Empire Strikes Back Part 2, they're on the ice planet of Hoth. Tauntaun is like their horse-like creature that can survive in the cold. And when Luke Skywalker gets lost, Han Solo goes to find him, and he has to kill his tauntaun. He cuts him open with like a lightsaber, and all the fluffy stuff comes out, right? And that's where
Oh,
they,
so
they
this
keep,
makes sense.
yeah. So they stick Luke Skywalker in there to keep him warm in the dead carcass of the tauntaun. So
Yeah. So that's what I drank basically, and it
okay,
was really, really good. And what else about it? It was a really good time. It was really fun, especially for me, being that Gen X. Like it's very Disneyland's very nostalgic for me.
Mhm.
I like a lot of the older rides, like Haunted Mansion, even like the Jungle Cruise. It just reminds me of being a kid. So even though they have like the super cool, Star Wars rides, some of my favorite rides are like the most simple rides,
Yeah.
and some of the oldest ones that they have at
Mhm.
Disneyland, Space Mountain, Matterhorn, things like that. But it was a lot of fun. It was kind of fun pretending to be a kid again, and around doing all the rides. So it was a good time.
That's cool. My favorite place to eat in Disneyland, I think, is right outside the Jungle Cruise. It's that kebab place that's right there.
Oh, yeah.
They have like when I used to eat meat back in the day when I went, they had the most tasty kebabs. Oh my goodness. I want
Yeah.
it bad now. That sounds really good.
I think they had grilled asparagus, so you could always have that.
Yeah, they had a veggie kebab, which is, a mushroom, some bell peppers and whatnot, but it
Totally not the same.
not the same. Oh,
I had one of the spicy beef kebabs, and it was really, really good.
okay. So there you go.
Making my mouth water now.
Well, while you were at Disneyland, I went to comic book shopping
Oh,
and I
nice.
picked up some cool comic books. I don't know if you'll be able to see them here. Exiles, which is a cool variant cover. I just like that. And I'm showing you some because it's like a hinting to our next guest that we're going to have on soon. So anyone out there wants to play along, you can kind of guess maybe who the guest will be. And the last one, there it is, Black Bolt. So yeah, I picked up some of those. I think in July we'll be having the writer on, if that gives you any hint out there, and we'll be chatting with him. So be sure you guys all stay tuned for that. Yeah, I picked up a comic book called Void Rivals. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
It's the Robert Kirkman newest book. And it's basically, I haven't read it yet, but they introduce a shared universe of Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Oh.
So I guess Kirkman bought the rights to Transformers G.I. Joe for publication. So they're going to start a whole new shared universe of them. So I thought that was very interesting because, you picture G.I. Joe and what they have, and then you picture Transformers. Now imagine them in the same world.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm a fan of G.I. Joe, not necessarily Transformers. I had Transformers as a kid, but not really a big fan of the movies. But definitely a fan of the G.I. Joe universe.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see where they take that.
Nice.
And Maria Wolf did a variant cover for that, which I was looking for Void Rivals. So I know you're a fan of Maria Wolf, and so am I. So keep a lookout for that.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It's sometimes her covers are hard to come by because they're so popular, they're gone right away. But next week she's gonna have the cover to Storm #2, which looks really cool. You have to check it out. Maybe I'll tweet it later. The cover they released it, what it looks like in it, and again, it's pretty badass. So I'll be trying to grab my hands on that next week.
Sounds good. Well, I think that's all I have. Short and sweet this week. Short and simple. Yeah. Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to get off your chest there?
No, I think that's all that I have.
All right. Well, everyone, go enjoy some Disneyland kebabs, and be sure you come back here. Let us know if you're listening to this point and you want to drop a comment. Let us know what your favorite place to eat at Disneyland is. And yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, and we'll see you guys next time.
Stay safe.